Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of New Slang. You're listening to episode number 84. I am Thomas Mooney, your host, and on this episode, I am joined by Rod Melancon, not Rod Melancon, Rod Melancon. So first off, this is a older conversation. Last summer I had stopped at Rod's place in Austin, and he had just released Pinkville, his full-length record, that spring, and I was down around Austin, so we scheduled this conversation, this interview. So Rod is definitely one of the most thoughtful guys I've met while doing music journalism. He's obviously really well versed in the facts, the liner notes, if you will, of film and literature and music, just the pop cultural aspects of society. He knows a whole lot about that, but it never feels like you're talking to like a database of all that kind of stuff. When I say thoughtful, I mean like he really thinks about how these mediums affect society and how they influence other art and how they change over time. In some respects, like when I was talking to Rod, it feels like I'm talking to myself. I obviously consume a whole lot of pop culture and art, and the one thing that always gets me is like I certainly enjoy the storytelling aspect of whatever we're talking about, but it's almost like I enjoy the stories that revolve around those stories just as much, if not more. That's really kind of what I'm interested in. I guess that's partly why I became a journalist. I obviously want to know what the song is about, but I also want to know why the song was written and think about how it's affected society and how it's affected culture going forward, or where it came from. Like, why was it written this way? What was the artist thinking this way? And I think that really informs a whole lot of Rod's own art, his own songwriting. It's the stories we tell ourselves, right? Speaking of which, Pinkville, his latest record, it's just an incredible album. Like I said, Rod released it last spring, and so many of the songs on there, they feel like they're about these culturally significant events and these culturally significant people, both on like a macro and a micro level. There's songs about Freddie Fender and Tom Petty and cable television and the Vietnam War, and even on the song Westgate, it's informed by the Iraq War, and which I guess if there is a middle ground song, it is Westgate, because it is so much about the impact of the Iraq War on an individual, but it's also about small town USA where like high school football is king, and of course like the songs Rehabilitation and Manic Depression, those are obviously about colossal events and battles within one's life. So this is really all just to say that I dig Rod's style of songwriting and storytelling, and the obviously like the sonic aspects of his style, of his music. So if you haven't checked out Rod's Pinkville yet, go ahead and do so. I suggest throwing on Westgate first, because it's just a really rocking song. It'll really draw you in. It's kind of just easy selling from that point. And speaking of liking shit, if you haven't subscribed to New Slang just yet, go ahead and do so on iTunes or on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _newslang. Go give New Slang a like on Facebook, and go give Rod a follow as well. He's always posting funny shit and good music on there, so he's a great follow. He's at Rod Melancon. That is RodMelancon, no spaces. Okay, so here is the excellent conversation I had with Rod. Well, you released a new record just a couple months ago, Pinkville. When I've been showing it to friends, I've always kind of described it as like, it's very pulpy in nature. Where does that come from? Where does that come from for you from your storytelling background?
It definitely comes from my love of movies as a kid. I mean, that's all I really cared about. The only reason I feel like I did good in school as a kid is I knew that if I got good grades, my mom would take me to the like rental place in my hometown, Home Video, which was just one of my favorite things, man. And when I'd go in there, I wouldn't go to the new releases. I'd always go to the back, to like dusty, kind of weird smelling part of the place that no one really went back to. It got like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time. I hit the horror section hard, but I always was a big movie buff, man. I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
At least when I was a kid. I mean, I still am, but I think that's kind of what started it for me.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy going back to thinking of those memories of renting movies. Because, especially if you're like from like a little kind of a small town, you didn't really have like Blockbuster.
Exactly.
Or anything like that. You had like just a limited supply of movies. And, what I liked more about it now is like if I'll go on Netflix and just scroll through, scroll, and you never make a choice of watching.
It's a never-ending loop,
so,
dude.
if you go to rent a movie, you only had so many selections to
Exactly,
pick from,
and there's something about seeing the like hard copies, seeing the cases with the weird art on it. I mean, it's the same way with books. I'd much rather have the physical copy in my hand than read it like on an electronic device or whatever.
Right.
It's just kind of a cooler experience. The place was called Home Video, and it was in Kaplan, Louisiana. They had this big, huge, pissed-off cat that was always on the counter. And, man, I love that place. They started letting me have posters after a while that they put on there.
Yeah.
Remember, I got, like, random posters, like, whatever they'd have up. I randomly had, like, Secret Window, Johnny Depp movie, and all this shit. I just love the fact that I kind of had this in to these movie posters. Like, I'm a big movie poster dude, too.
Right.
One of my prized possessions is original 1980 Raging Bull poster. I'm super proud of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have a good few movie posters. One of them I had that was, I feel like it's not necessarily like an actual movie poster associated with the movie, but I had like this Pulp Fiction one that was like a cartoon version of Vince and Jules.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
And like it was like kind of like real big heads, real small bodies.
I like that, man.
It was
I've
really
never
cool.
even seen that design. That sounds cool. You know that dude Adam from Mike and the Moon Pies?
Yeah.
We hit it off hard the last couple of days, man. We've been texting so much because we found out we're both horror nerds.
Yeah.
We both take photos of our like memorabilia and send it to each other, and both get equally pumped up. It's like, dang, that's cool, man. It's funny whenever like film buffs sort of realize they're both film buffs. It's just never ending, man. You just talk about it forever.
Right. Well, that's like the first couple times I did a podcast with Mike. We're just talking about music and whatnot, and then after one of the shows, we ended up talking about TV because we're like both really big into TV, and I was like, we just need to do a podcast on Friday Night Lights now and like The Wire, stuff like that.
Yeah, my guitar player's dad did the music for the Friday Night Lights TV series, except for the pilot, which is the Explosions in the Sky band. Everything else is him after that. That reminds me, Adam, I told him that you were coming here, and he was pumped. He was like, "Oh yeah, I know Tom's really good."
Yeah, he's just a wealth of information on like basically
that's what I
anything
know,
and
man. We
everything.
were texting for like 3 hours about this crazy shit.
Yeah, they were in town last Friday, and we hung out there, and it was always a good time at the Blue
They're
Light.
a great band, man.
Yeah,
and they pay the dues, they do their thing. I remember in like 2014, the first time I came to South by Southwest, I saw their name up on ABGB, and I didn't know anything about them, but I just thought it was a cool name because I fucking love Banana Moon Pies, dude. Ever since I was a kid. It still holds up in the taste-wise. It still tastes good.
Mike was saying something about how in the first couple of years, somebody from Moon Pies got a hold of him about a sponsorship, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah," and then like never got a response back. It's like,
that would
just
be
kidding,
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just messing with you, man.
But, yeah, you're okay. So you're from Louisiana.
Yeah. I
think a lot of these songs. It's okay. I was thinking about it when I was driving up here. I guess like if you don't know anything about the terrain or the location of these songs, they're so good songs, but they add an element to them that is just, if you I guess appreciate the landscape of a place, they pop a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
how important is locale for you?
It's important. I feel like there's little details you can put into the lyrics that help sort of suck the listener in and be able to sort of have a clearer picture of where I'm talking about. The little kind of details add up in sort of creating the environment for them and helping them get a better picture for it. But it definitely plays a big part. I mean, just like the instruments and the way it's mixed and the way it sounds, like Pinkville, the opening track. When I first described that to Will, my guitar player, years ago, I was like, I want to have an intro for the shows that sort of sounds like a kind of swampy, this platoon sort of walking through the jungle and whatnot. Now it's all humid and they're a bit kind of looking over their shoulders. The tensions are kind of high. And he sat down and sort of came up with that on the spot. So I feel like the visual aspect is important to me, not just lyrically, but like the way it sounds and the instruments and whatnot too. That's just a heavy baritone riff, you know what I mean?
Right.
To sort of invoke that swampy vibe,
Yeah, I love how just like that first track is just the spoken word, and it kind of just sets the table up.
Yeah, that was at least what I was going for. Sort of like the way you kind of suck someone in with an intro, I always like the idea of an intro on a record, or like, like theater and whatnot. You always set the stage by kind of sucking in the audience before you sort of like lay it on them, with some heavy, going out west style shit. So that was sort of what I was going for, at least. I'm glad you dig that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about it too. Is like, I can't remember which one came out first, the finale for True Detective 3 or your record, but like I automatically kind of matched whenever like Purple Haze is going back into the jungle.
Yeah, that came out afterwards, and I was super pumped at that last image because it's like totally my thing. And the fact that the guy, it's like, yeah, he's older now, but we're sort of seeing what goes on in the inside of his mind. It's sort of symbolic to that, He's still in the jungle, even though he pretends he's not. He tells his wife, like, no, I don't think about it much.
Yeah.
But you know that he does.
Yeah.
That's just a great writing and a great character.
Yeah. I thought, like, I know, like, people are going to be like, spoiler alerts on this shit, but I had read, I guess, somebody thinking, like, that right after he, like, kind of goes back into the jungle, because it just cuts to black real quick.
They thought he died?
That, like, he dies right there, and, like, he actually died in Nam, and, like, this is all happening in, like, that split moment.
I think that's kind of what
like,
they hoped for, just like they thought that Matthew McConaughey was in a crossover into some crazy realm at the end of True Detective Season 1. But I think that it's probably much simpler than that.
Well, that's what I thought, too.
But it is fun.
I think with 3, you take away kind of like the entire, the impact of the war having on a person and having it impact his entire life. You kind of take that away.
You do.
And I know there was like some talk about with season 1 that one of the endings that was up on the table was that Marty and Russ went into Carcosa and then like were never able to come back out.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that would have been so much better. That would have been so cool.
You know what I think plays into a lot of that too? At least what I learned, because my buddy was associate producer on season 3.
Okay, yeah.
Is HBO and is the people that are going to have to put it out. They're like, yeah, that would maybe be interesting, and, symbolic and powerful, but this is maybe a little more safe for the viewers. I think people don't realize that that's actually goes into it a lot. I mean,
well, because people love happy endings.
They do too, yeah. But I think that sometimes those folks kind of have to answer to the big man. Here's a fun fact I learned from my buddy who was associate producer. I don't know if this has ever been said, but Sturgill Simpson auditioned for Stephen Dorff's part.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And supposedly he was really good. My buddy said he was really good, but they just went with Stephen because he had the experience. Yeah. And it just made sense.
Dorff was really fucking good on
He
that.
stole it from me, and it's like, at the same time, it's like Mahershala Ali is one of the greatest actors right now, and for Stephen Dorff to come out of nowhere and like stay on his level the whole show, that was pretty impressive. I didn't expect that, to be honest.
Yeah. Because he to me, he really reminded me. I know, like in the show, he's supposed to be from like Arkansas.
Sure.
but he reminded me of like so many people I knew in West Texas.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
He had a hardness to him and a
dryness
swagger to him at the same time.
Yeah.
Great outfits too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And the soundtrack was cool. Like I think that was Jerry Lee Lewis doing the Mickey Newberry song at the end and whatnot.
Right.
And
what was crazy is like those first 2 episodes had Newberry songs.
Yeah.
Because like they had.
Just dropped in.
Yeah.
I love that version. That's actually a live version too, which is trippy, man.
Well, the thing is too, I don't think he ever recorded that.
I don't think he did in the studio. No.
Because I've not ever been able to find that at all.
No, I haven't either. There's just a live, like maybe it was early '90s, late '80s album. I've heard that one before, and I remember that being on it.
After the first 2 episodes with the Newberry, I thought, are they gonna keep on?
Is this a theme? A Newberry theme would be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Newberry's the man, dude. I mean, look how far out he got on some of those songs, and like 33rd of August and stuff like that. Was an amazing songwriter, no doubt. That's for sure. But yeah, True Detective season 3, I feel like they sort of bounced back from after season 2, which aside from Colin Farrell and a couple cool moments, I like the my friend Jake LaBatz played Conway Twitty in that flashback thing.
Did he?
I thought that was cool.
I love the cosmic elements of 2.
Me too. I love the ending when he's like not sure he's dead. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think that it came down to direction in that.
Yeah.
Too many different directors, too many different things going on. The reason season 1 flowed so well, I feel, is because it was Cary Fukunaga the whole time.
The entire time,
Same cinematographer the whole time. It's one big-ass long movie. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And I know that was the plan with part 3, but they had disagreements with the dude that was going to do it, and he basically got fired. And there's a guy who directed Green Room, which is a cool movie.
Well, I thought like with 2... Yeah, it was a direction where like basically it was 4 directors, right? 2 episodes each. And I was telling people how what made 1 so seamless was that there was callbacks that like made sense in episode, like something would be set up for episode 5.
Exactly. It all was connected.
And in a way with 2 is like, and it's no fault to whoever directed the first 2 episodes, but like they're not really thinking about 5. They're just thinking about 1 and 2, and you're not really making your, you're kind of making those 2 hours as your movie.
Yeah, I agree. And it was like the dude who directed Too Fast, Too Furious wouldn't be my first choice to direct.
See, I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice to direct the first 2 episodes of True Detective. But I think that Nick Pizzolatto is like all about taking risk and taking chances and being like, let's cast Vince Vaughn, which on paper seems like probably a pretty good idea, but I don't really feel like Vince Vaughn was all that great. I feel like some of his line delivery was weird, and I actually have seen a movie recently called Brawl in Cell Block 99, I think it's called. Man, Vince Vaughn's amazing in it. Like, it made me sort of realize, like, okay, when a person's given a good script and the director and it all kind of like, flows together, it makes all the difference. I mean, that's like Steven Dorff. I mean, he was doing straight to DVD shit the last like 15 years.
Yeah.
So given the opportunity, he was really able to shine in that, and I think that's super cool. My friend Tristan told me a story about Steven Dorff invited Nick Pizzolatto to his like beach house. He was like, "Come down here, we're having a wild party." And when he showed up, it was just Steven Dorff and 2 of his friends just shirtless drinking on the beach. It's like, dang, Steven sounds cool, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I guess, like you were saying, like all the straight to DVD movies, like Dorff was doing the first e-cig commercial. Remember that stuff?
Yeah, he did an interview about that. He was like, "Man, I was smoking real cigarettes the whole time too."
Yeah,
I was just pretending that shit.
I guess with 2, that another one of my problems was, I just thought that they could have had Nick been given more time.
They rushed him. Yeah, HBO took the blame.
Yeah, it was such a you got to create the same thing you did with 1, but like in not even half the time, like 8 months or whatever.
That shows how kind of clueless the people in charge are.
Yeah,
that's like them saying after you release a record, being like, "All right, we need another one in like 6 months." It's like, oh, okay, shit.
You're right.
Jingles time.
Yeah, no shit. I thought they could have had he been given time, he would have probably dropped the character.
I think so
it
too.
Felt like you're
yeah, he probably would have dropped the cop or whatever. Nothing against Taylor Kish. I think he's cool.
Yeah.
He was really cool as what's his name? The Waco dude.
Oh yeah. David Koresh.
David Koresh, man. He was great as David Koresh.
Yeah.
So I see why they cast him, because he's a great actor.
When they cast him as Koresh, I was like, he's obviously like been always cast as like a pretty boy, and like people were not really thinking of Koresh as a heartthrob or anything.
No way.
He was able to transform and
because
really
his charm,
get his
like a lot of those
mannerisms.
cult leaders, it's their charm that sucks you in. And this brings up a crazy story. I actually went to the remnants of the Waco compound after a show I played in Dallas with my girlfriend, and we showed up there thinking it was just kind of like,
isn't there still
nothing.
people there, right?
There's still people there, man.
Yeah.
And we walked, they were like, there's like all these weird like memorials to all the people who died and whatnot. We're like, okay, well that's understandable, terrible tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we walked inside to the this trailer. They were like, yeah, that's the information office. And it's this dude in a wheelchair with a dead eye, and behind him is a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. And he's like, what y'all want? I was like, oh dang, play it cool.
Yeah.
He's like, $10 and y'all can donate, and y'all get these DVDs and these like pamphlets. I think I still have them, but it turns out that he's totally still hardcore member of the Church of Davidians or whatever, and that their presence is still around. And then you go into the church that they built after it burnt down, and it's just like super hardcore alt-right stuff everywhere. And I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get uncomfortable at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of these cults is that they, especially I'm sure back then too, but like it feels like the connection to the alt-right and like white power, white supremacy is a lot more of a connected thing.
It is
than people I think realized.
It really is, man.
Because so many of those people are like
hardcore religious,
true bloodlines, or like that kind of shit, and it's like. Okay, yeah, whatever. And
yeah, that's true, man. There's always a strong connection to that super alt-right, super hardcore religion. If you're not with us, then you're gonna burn and all this shit. It's like, but for some reason, I thought that wouldn't be the case. I thought it would just be a plaque with names on it and then remnants of the places. But nah, man, they got that one-eyed man in there.
Yeah, well, I know, like I guess I've listened to a few things on the Branch Davidians.
Me too, yeah.
And one of the things that I was like, God damn, that's some ruthless shit was, because Koresh wasn't like he didn't found them, you know what I mean? He did not, they found him, right?
They did, yeah.
And then they kind of just like, he rose the power within them, but like the lady who was like one of the, like her and her husband had started them. And then whenever David took control, they kind of like dropped her off like on a road.
Yeah, I
and
remember
like she was
that.
like 80-something years old.
Yeah,
or something
David
like that,
and
just
them
kind of
got
like
arrested for like stealing guns, or they had guns and they like robbed a place. Like there was criminal behavior before he took it on. It's obvious the dude was a criminal from the start. But you find some vulnerable people that are looking for a path and stuff, and that's. I mean, in LA, I saw it with Scientology all the time. I mean,
I'm sure.
they put signs outside the Scientology building like, we're doing acting workshops, come meet a casting director. It's because they know there's a bunch of vulnerable people trying to break into that industry. They're like, oh, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Scientology,
Cults,
we're going to have to cut all the Scientology stuff out because
oh yeah,
they'll come after us, man.
They'll take my cats, dude.
Yeah.
I have to go Dirty Harry on them for my cats.
Yeah. Old Scientology. I'm sure you've seen some of that stuff on
the HBO
the
thing.
Going Clear.
I remember whenever that came out, I was driving on Sunset Boulevard where their big compound is, those big blue buildings, and it was just packed with people in the parking lot. Like they were showing their strength,
Right.
Like they were just like, let's make it look like we are not affected by this, but they totally were.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is like Leonard Cohen was kind of like practicing some Scientology shit.
It's a little bit weird when you find out about that.
And there's references in some of his songs, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's what that is right there?
Yeah, dude, we've existed for millions of years, and now we're in our little, we're a passenger in our bodies or whatever the fuck. It's like I don't know who like heard that and was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm down with aliens and I'm down with researching UFOs and whatnot, but I don't think my body is a vessel for an alien.
right. To me, my whole thing is just like a lot of these leaders are just con men. They find the power.
They're charismatic.
And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, you know what? Like, people are going to start waiting on me.
They always use it as like an opportunity to just have like wild orgies or like, wow, it's like they just love the attention, man. That's what it all comes down to, I think.
I found out that a Fort Worth, like a really, really, really minor cult leader from Fort Worth was originally born in Fort Stockton, which is where I'm from. And this was back in I guess she was probably born in the 30s or something like that. And I guess she was put up for adoption. That's how she ended up in Fort Worth in the first place. But like how, I guess there's like a big Wikipedia page and a few other pages that I've read about where she, there's a lot of talk about her like killing her like first husband, second husband kind of shit, like that kind of like, cult leader, and like has like had like a following and shit. So
like there's something suspicious, man. We got 3 husbands, died under unusual circumstances.
And when I say like minor, I'm saying like she didn't have like 100 followers or something like that. She had
her little group.
Yeah, but that's still crazy. Like
that is crazy, man. And
because you also don't see too many female cult leaders.
You don't. That's kind of that's kind of an oddity in the cult world, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we're covering the kind of ground that I want to cover on interviews.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it has to do that we're close to the same age when we both grew up probably watching the same shit. We both grew up probably watching Are You Afraid of the Dark and all the same shit.
I remember that show.
It's different, man. It's different than when I'm interviewing with like, someone else. Like I feel like when I'm doing it with someone else, like some kind of like different setting, different setup, I feel like I sort of have to not necessarily stick to the script per se, but you're sort of kind of pitching yourself at the same time.
Right.
So you kind of can't really color outside of the lines too much.
Yeah.
It's like my grandpa, I showed him the Hank Williams disc, and this is how it all went down. I mean, all of that's true, but I've probably told that story. I don't know, man. I think when my girlfriend would come on the radio tours with me, I feel like she could answer those questions for me if she had to.
From on the other side, I can always tell whenever like people go into radio mode or like 10-minute interview mode.
Oh yeah,
because it's and I mean I understand like
it's understandable. Like something like NPR, I'm like, okay, he's gonna ask this. What would make the most sense? I was going on walks like all day, like listening to like Sam Shepard interviews, listening to all these writers I look up to interviews, just being like, okay, all right, yeah, all right. I've given them a shitload of interviews. What worked? What didn't? And I loved how it came out, and I got a lot of feedback from random people. It was really cool, and it did really well. But it's nice to kind of be in a different realm right now, where we can sort of talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, also with that, it's like a fixed block of time. You know what I mean? And this
people are gonna look that up. Years from now, if I happen to have an untimely death, that's what they'll play. Like, we interviewed him on All Things Considered.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Did you just do it on the phone, or what was that?
I had to go to the KUTX studio, which was super cool. They were super cool. I hung out with this dude, David. I think his last name's Alvarez, who's worked there forever, and he was super cool. He's the one that told me that, at least he used to, that Tim O'Brien lives in Austin, the author of The Things They Carried. And it kind of sparked it in me. Like, I kind of want to see if I could find a way to get in touch with him or something.
Yeah. He's, I know when I interviewed Ben Nichols, he was really into that book, too.
Ben Nichols is cool, man.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of cool books.
Yeah.
Blood Meridian, the whole album for it. And his brother is fucking incredible director.
Yeah. I guess he lives here, too, in Austin.
Jeff does?
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that's another one I'll put on my radar. It's funny. Jeff Nichols is this Larry Brown documentary. Jeff Nichols actually is in it. So is David Gordon Green. But, they were all sort of part of that. And that's like the early 2000s. So they're all super young. But Jeff Nichols has done great. I mean, the movie Mud's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you bring him up because I remember being like 19. I love Shotgun Stories, right? That film Shotgun Stories. And I was watching interviews on like YouTube or whatever. And he was like, yeah, if I could make films the way Bruce Springsteen and Townes Van Zandt write songs, I'll be fine. And I had never heard of Townes Van Zandt yet. So that sort of sparked it for me. I was like, who's this guy?
Right.
Also, all I knew from Bruce was like, I don't know if I'd gotten The Ghost of Tom Joad just yet. That was the first record I got into. So yeah, man, that's another thing about me learning about music from movies. Like, I got into Hank Williams after The Last Picture Show when I was like 17.
Yeah.
This is another fun fact. A lot of people probably wouldn't realize this. Steve Earle and Emmylou Harris, I found out about them through the Brokeback Mountain soundtrack.
Yeah.
They're both on it.
Yeah.
And that movie came out when I was like 17. I was like, damn, this soundtrack's really cool. And that's how I found out about those folks.
On Brokeback, I know like another one of those little things, like Larry McMurtry is like one of the screenwriters on that.
I saw his Oscar for it, dude.
I guess on the soundtrack though, there's a song by Willie Nelson on there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what.
It's a Bob Dylan song. He was a friend of mine.
No. There's another song where it's like, it may not be on the soundtrack, but I know it was like in relation to it, and it has like this long title of like something about.
Oh, something about cowboys.
Sometimes like cowboys are like often.
I remember
like fond
that.
of one another.
There's like
or
a
something
YouTube
like that.
video. There might even be an official video or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I remember that song. Yeah.
That's like a cover of a guy who I can't remember where he's from. He's from like eastern New Mexico though. And he's like from like Clovis or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the one song like he ever kind of like
that's cool.
Kind of
man.
got big in a way,
like
because like Willie Nelson covered it because it was about like gay cowboys.
That's badass, dude. I bet he's glad he wrote that one.
Yeah,
just sort of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think like it's one of those like he dabbled in songwriting for a while and then like started doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's badass, dude. Yeah, I went up to that city where like Archer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Larry McMurtry's book collection, and I seen his Oscar that he won with the author of Brokeback Mountain. Damn, what's her name? Like Annie Pruitt or something like that.
I'm not sure.
I forget what her name is, but that was cool seeing all that stuff. Like, yeah, I love Larry McMurtry. I remember we didn't know each other yet, but you posted on Twitter your Larry McMurtry collection. I was like, oh shit, this dude's fucking down.
Well, I got all those or not all of them, but I probably had, I don't know, 7, 8 of them, just like picking them up here and there. But there's this cell in Lubbock called Friends of the Library, and it happens quarterly. And they have like these big book sales in the basement at the main library in Lubbock. And I mean, like you just, there's basically all of the books.
That's cool.
Are there. And so I'll go in there and look around, and they're all pretty damn cheap. So like I was going through and I just got to like fill this McMurtry catalog out so I can have them all and like just be able to go, okay, well, like here we go on to the next one now.
Yeah.
But
that's cool, man.
He's such a damn, like him, and obviously like Cormac is probably my favorite of the.
Yeah, same. I mean, Cormac's amazing, man. I love the way he describes the violence, and he knows how to set the scenes. Like in Blood Meridian, the scenes are so post-apocalyptic and like gruesome, and like it's like you can almost smell it the way he describes it, man. It's a creepy book, but it's amazing. It's like Southern Shakespeare or something. That book.
Well, the thing too is in most of his books, he's kind of has the, like the Faulkner kind of like just long, super long sentences of really descriptive, right?
Yeah.
And it creates that pace, but he also changes it up where the best example was with The Road, because all those sentences are just like 5 words max.
That's a great book, yeah.
And so it just creates this like fast-paced pace to how you're reading it, because it's all kind of like in fractions.
Yeah, I think I read that in like 2 days or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a quick read. I'm trying to think. He'll do it like in some of his other stuff though, where he's just to make it where it's like I can't think of anything like off the top of my head, but like they came through the, you know what I mean? Like, just like they came through the door or something like that.
it's
where
almost
it'll
screenwriter-esque.
be like where it's just, there's no fumbling over
It's
that.
almost like a screenplay or something like that at times, or like a play, the way he describes what they're doing and their actions.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Coen brothers were like, adapting No Country for Old Men was so easy because like one person held the book and the other person typed it out. It was like easy to transfer that into a screenplay for him.
Mm-hmm. I was working at a summer camp in Fort Davis, in, I guess it was 06. It had to be 06 for, and they were filming No Country out there, and
cool.
There Will Be Blood at the same time.
Oh damn, dude!
Out
Double
in,
whammy of greatness.
Yeah, out in Marfa.
2 classics.
Yeah.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when, speaking of Brokeback Mountain, whenever I was 18, I was in this like mediocre like film department thing at a community college in Lafayette, and this was before I moved to LA. And so I was like, all right, I guess I should go to college or something like that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so I went there, and I could tell it was sort of weird, and that we were going to team up with like the acting people, team up with the film people, and then we work on a script for like 6 months or whatever, and try to reshoot scenes from it or something like that. And I remember I brought a scene from Brokeback Mountain. It wasn't a sex scene or anything like that. It was just like, you know, a scene of them kind of having this dialogue together. And I mean, I should have known better back then. I'm in South Louisiana, but people were like, thought I was just like fucking around and kind of laughed it off. And I was like, oh, all right, okay. Then they were like, all right, we're giving out the scripts. We'll put you in groups, and this is what you're going to have to work on for the rest of the semester. I was like, okay. And so I get my little group, and then she puts Top Gun down on the desk. And then I just walked out. I never went back, dude. I never went back. I started doing landscaping work, and then I saved up and moved to L.A. after that.
Yeah. How long did you live in L.A.?
10 years.
10 years, man.
10 years, yeah. I moved there when I was 18, almost 19. Now I was 10 years there, man. When I first moved out there, it was to get into the acting world, because before I moved to LA, I was doing a lot of stand-in work in Louisiana. I did like stand-in work on the Benjamin Button movie. That was trippy because David Fincher, like they test the lights on the stand-in. So your job is you're the same height as the actor. You come in, they test all the lights, and the actual actor comes in.
Right.
It's a cool job. But David Fincher came up to me and was like doing the like thing that like he was like pretending like he had the camera in his hand. It was like testing shit, and I was like, I thought that was the coolest thing because I loved Fight Club as a kid, and I loved Seven too.
Right.
So I was like, this is fucking dope.
Dude,
and then I stayed up all night, and so I almost wrecked driving back home all the way from Baton Rouge because I was so tired. But I was too excited to sleep, man. It was a shit.
Seven is one of those movies a lot of people say, oh, you can only watch once, and I'm like, no,
I
can
like
watch it
35 times at this point in my life.
I think
amazing.
it's one of the best I've ever.
It's a classic,
watched.
dude. I mean, without Seven, we might not have True Detective, to be honest.
Yeah, no shit.
The way the characters interact, the way they get frustrated with each other, but they still have this kind of love for each other. Like, you know, Morgan Freeman's character is kind of closed off. He thinks Brad Pitt's kind of a moron.
Right.
But the way that, you know, almost kind of like Russ Cole and Marty in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, like Morgan Freeman obviously is highly intelligent, and Brad Pitt's character is kind of a kid, you know. He hasn't really grown into himself yet. Like when he has to read the like Dante shit, he just hates the thought of having to read all this poetry.
He goes and gets all the cliff notes.
Yeah. So I feel like that's, you know, Seven played an important part in sort of, it was kind of a groundbreaker, I guess. And it's creepy as hell, man. It's actually kind of scary.
No, yeah, it definitely is. It's what I love too about stuff like that is when you haven't watched it in a long time and you come back to it, you relate to those characters in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you know what I mean?
Truth,
like, I guess when you're younger, for me at least, you kind of get a little bit frustrated with like, man, they're just kind of treating Brad Pitt's character, I guess his name's like David Mills. He's like give him a little bit of reign, you know what I mean? Like, he's not a kid. And then like, you know, I watched it now and I'm like, that guy's a jackass all the time. Like, he just needs to like kind of calm down.
It's kind of like when I first had that happen was with Stand By Me. So when I was a kid, I'm like, oh man, these little kids going on this cool adventure, you know? It's sort of like that's all you think about. You relate with the kids. Then when you get older, you're like, oh shit, now I'm the adult. Now I'm the narrator.
Yeah.
Now I see this movie in a totally different light. Now instead of being the kids on the adventure, I'm like the older guy reminiscing on the friends that aren't here anymore and whatnot. That's like a prime example of like a movie you watch at different ages and it has two totally different meanings.
Yeah. Another one for me, you mentioned Fight Club.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I couldn't understand that shit when I was like 14. I was just like, damn, Brad Pitt looks badass, kicking ass.
And, like, there's all these like really great lines in it. Like you just think they're like, it's the
Like
I love
IKEA
Paul and Nick.
Obsession. I didn't know what that was.
I love Paul and Nick as a writer. I've kind of outgrown him. Like I've not read a Paul and Nick book in forever. But at the time, I thought those it was just really clever and smart. And,
Same, yeah.
And I still think there's a degree of like him being clever and smart, but also the time it's kind of like the Reddit group.
Yeah, you sort of
14
grow,
and this is deep.
Yeah,
you know?
you sort of grow out of it. I mean, it's the same thing with music too. I mean, the music I was listening to when I was a kid isn't the same music I would probably listen to today. And if I went back and listened to it, I'd be like, oh, okay, different time and place.
Right. Yeah.
I would never want to be on the musician side of it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll really like this when you're like 15, but when you get older, you'll be like, why is this like 30-year-old man writing about like high school relationships?
Yeah, no shit.
This episode is sponsored by Smith Iron and Design. It's owned and operated by one of my good friends, Aaron Smith, and his dad, Sonny. As the name implies, Smith Iron and Design specializes in creating custom metal and woodwork. They have a vast array of metal signs that are perfect wall decor that'll tie our room together. They design everything from welcome signs to family crests, flags, and Texas cutouts. They have a series of these metal wreaths that are perfect for your front door, and you are able to change them out depending on the season. Are you a sports fan? Well, there's nothing better than having a giant logo of your team on the wall of your den or office. When it comes to signage, the possibilities are really endless. What you should really do, though, is head over to smithironanddesign.com to get a look at their vast portfolio. That's smithironanddesign.com. I'll throw a link into the show notes as well. They don't just do signs either. Some of the smaller items are custom bottle openers and keychains. Then they also have bookshelves, TV stands, nightstands, and fire pits. You know, it was about a year ago, Aaron built me a custom shelf. I needed something new to store some of my vinyl, and everything I had come across, either the shelves weren't big enough for LPs, or it looked too bland or cheaply made, or, to be perfectly honest, too expensive. So I wound up talking with Aaron, and about a week later, I was able to pick up this custom shelf unit that's just been amazing. It's incredibly sturdy, has a bit of a rustic feel. In my opinion, one of the best parts was just having so much control in the process. You can get them as tall as you want with the shelves at the perfect depth and length. Again, for me, this was for storing vinyl, so they had to be a certain height and depth. I've been thinking about getting a custom bookshelf companion piece soon as well. Now, for the most part, they primarily serve the Lubbock area and the South Plains, but for some of their smaller pieces, they're able to ship nationwide as well. Again, smithironanddesign.com. Now back to the show.
And I went to, it was my second time in Sweden and Europe. Sweden, Scandinavia, and Denmark. And it was a trip, man. First time was cool. Second time was cool. Second time was a lot more lax because I knew what to expect. I wasn't just, getting thrown into another country, not knowing how things work, how money works, what you got to do. So it was a lot more laid back.
Yeah, I've not ever been to Europe, so I'm like...
It's cool. Next year I'm going to Spain, going to Germany, going to a lot more places.
I'm going to cut that part out. Forgot to bring my...
How's it looking? Did it pause a long time ago?
I'm not sure.
You want to check and then we start all over again? Not start all over again, but start back again.
No, it's fine. We'll just run with this. I don't know if we caught the... like the talk about heat or any of that, but or the Isbel talk, I guess we probably cut. But I mean, it's
all
fine.
Good, whatever, man.
We'll just run through.
Sweet. Yeah, so Europe, a trippy thing about Sweden, it's weird the songs that become hits there that aren't hits in America.
Okay.
It'll be like weird B-sides and stuff. Like, I was showing people in the band this like ridiculous Alice Cooper song that he wrote for like Friday the 13th Part 6 or something, Man Behind the Mask. And we all like laughed about it, like, yeah. And then we were driving, and all of a sudden I start hearing it play, and I'm like, oh, who's playing on their phone? They're like, no, man, that's the radio. That was a hit song here. It still kind of is. I was like, holy shit, that's trippy as hell.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting when you're in other countries, sort of the things that, you know, took off and the things that they sort of like embraced is sometimes things you wouldn't expect, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But I like being out there, man. It's fun. It's people are excited. Sometimes I wonder if they understand what I'm singing about, but they always are very, you know, they're very into it and very appreciative, and it's nice. I mean, the treatment's great. The hotels you stay in are amazing. The food's amazing. It's just, it's wild, you know. Then you come back to the States.
Yeah. I've always heard like the crowds are a little bit more attentive because like it's kind of going to a show versus like
they really are
going to a
It's
show
like,
and bar.
okay, I'm here to watch this music. They all clap in unison after the set ends, which at first kind of tripped me out. I didn't know if I was about to be sacrificed or something. But yeah, they just seem very involved in the music. While it's like they're not distracted by other things.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I mean, that's sort of what you want. I mean, I'm down to get crazy at the White Horse on Saturdays. People are drunk out their mind. I mean, that's fun to me too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have those shows where you're like, okay, these people are totally on board with me right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's a cool experience. I mean, only in Sweden would David Ramirez like open for me, which was weird.
Yeah.
I think, you know why I think he opened is because he was acoustic. So they were like, we don't want the band playing before. But that was the first time I ever met him. He was super cool.
Yeah. I guess he lived in Lubbock for like 6 months there because his I think it was like his girlfriend at the time was finishing up school, and he moved, and he was going to Blue Light like every songwriter night on Mondays.
That's
and
cool.
Just like testing new songs out and
That's nice.
doing stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. That reminds me, dude, I actually meant to tell you this when you showed up, but today I just found out I'm going to do 2 nights opening for Hayes Carl at Green Hall in August. So that's really cool. I was like, all right, cool, man.
Yeah.
Because they sent Hayes is supposedly real particular about who opens for him. So his manager sent him the songs, and he was like, really liked it a lot, and was like, yeah. He's like, let's just get him for both nights. I was like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah.
My early 20s, man. I mean, I'm still down with Hayes Carl, obviously, but I remember discovering him when I was like 22 or 23. And it's all I listened to for like an entire year. It's like, I love the humor behind it. I love those serious songs too. And I just like his overall vibe. And he's a great songwriter.
Yeah. One of the things I love is it's with the sense of humor, but it's like where he kind of like picks on himself.
I like that
songs.
too.
Like
he doesn't take himself too serious.
I like that in a songwriter.
Nothing's worse than these like young songwriters around my age that it's just like, you can't even crack a joke with them. You can't even really like talk about anything but the seriousness of, you know, what they're trying to do.
Their music.
It's like, damn, that seems so miserable, man. Like, you're at my place, dude. I got Terminator 2 action figures. I got fucking, you know, I got all the shit I'm into. I'm not gonna, you know, before you show up, dress this up with as 70s country as I can make it look.
Yeah.
I mean, I am proud of that original late great Townes Van Zandt record. That's an original pressing.
I walked in. Yeah.
And that's a signed Waylon Jennings Honky Tonk Heroes that actually got accidentally because my friend was like a mom and pop shop in Utah that were selling records. And they were like, yeah, you can take all these. Like, we're just trying to get rid of what we can. And then when she came back, she was like, yeah, I got you this record. I was like, oh, I love this one. You know, Billy Joe wrote all the songs. And when I flipped it over, it was signed by Waylon Jennings. And it was like his birthday or something. So I was like, damn, this is some cosmic ass shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm down with that shit for sure. But I'm also down, you know, talk about movies and geek out on shit.
Yeah. The going back to like some of your songwriting.
Sure.
You know, when Westgate came out, you know, I kind of said it was
I
like
loved what you wrote, man.
Yeah, it's
it
kind of like
captured it perfectly, honestly.
like a Richard Linklater film, because it felt like, you know, you're just kind of in that
Kind of that realm or that like
Yeah,
world.
it felt like you're kind of just where you it captured like the character of being a flame out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and just having like all of a sudden like the real world caught up to him
Mm-hmm.
really quick, and you're just kind of like, oh man, he had to like grow up fast all of a sudden. He probably was not he thought, just like getting away from football and hanging out with chicks
Yeah,
was gonna
yeah.
be that for
That'll
like
be
the next.
that'll be the whole thing.
And after that, it was like, no, he's
Nope. Here I go. Now I'm in a tank in a war zone. That escalated quickly.
yeah. Well, like what I was gonna say about a lot of your songwriting, there's, even though it's very detailed and very pulpy, sonically a lot of these songs kind of are little pockets, little different pockets. Like
Sure, yeah.
Corpus Christi Car Wash is very, it's a very like kind of traditional kind of country song.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And of course, like with Going Out West, you're really getting a
Sort of like
a rock
angry
and roll
garage
yeah.
rock, kind of like, yeah. Yeah, I like, I always sort of like that because it keeps me from getting bored, especially when I'm on the road. Plus, I always sort of like records like that. And I like so much different kinds of music and recording style that I'm sort of just like, okay, let's just kind of do all the things that we're sort of interested in and not feel like we have to follow the same format throughout the whole thing. Because there's some bands that how their records are going to sound before they come out,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's nice to kind of just get a little weird with it. And David Bowie has a nice interview where he talks about that, like, get as far out into the water as you can before you can barely, touch the bottom, or your toes barely touch, and that's whenever you'll sort of come out with something interesting or something great. And I think that's really true. It's just like all about taking risks, kind of getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. I mean, keeping your head on straight, but I think that's when you'll truly kind of make something interesting, take chances. Like, when I first started out, I was just like, my very first record is out of print for a long time. It's not online or nothing, but it's like a traditional country record. I was heavy into the 70s, outlaw movement and all those great records. And it sort of evolved over time,
Mm-hmm.
I got more confident in myself, and like, I talked about that on the Chris Shiflett podcast. I did some songs with Dave Cobb, and whenever I recorded with him, he kept having me move up the capo on the Mad Talking Man song, and I never really projected when I sang. And then I sort of had no choice because he was sitting there. It was like Jamie Johnson's band sitting there, and they're all sort of watching me try to figure this out. So I just belted it out. Then ever since then, I've been able to write songs with that sort of vocal style where I feel like I can belt it out and sort of push it and get gravelly with it. And I guess that's the mark of a great producer, because I didn't even know I had that myself,
Yeah.
Before then, it was just sort of like a clenched fist type singing. Like, every song will be kind of like, sort of monotone, or kind of just a little bit, nothing's ever going to be shouted.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a moment that I forget about the importance of it sometimes, because I get so wrapped up and lost in what I have to do next, what I need to get done next. So sometimes it's nice, like moments like this, to sit down and look back and be like, wow, that was pretty crucial, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the dude. Look at all the awards he's won.
How long ago was that?
I think that was 2013 or 2012. I can send you the recordings. I still got them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it was 2 weeks before he recorded Southeastern, and it's the same studio and everything.
Yeah.
It was a studio in the back of his house. He bought this house that came with a built-in studio in the back,
Mm-hmm.
full-fledged. It belonged to some like Nashville pop country dude that moved out, and so Dave moved in, and then he took care, and then he started recording there.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me that he was thinking about using Crazy Horse as Jason Isbell's backing band on the Southeastern record. And then after that, he was like, no, let's just do acoustic. Then he was like, no, we got to have sort of a band on this
Right.
too. And I remember him I wish I still had the video clips, man. But he was like sending me clips of them recording. It's like on my old phone. Of course, he'd be like, don't share this with anyone, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
back then. But I guess it probably wouldn't matter now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember being excited about that. And eventually, I didn't end up making a record with him. He was like, let's get some money and do a full record. And then I moved out to L.A., and I got this sort of like record deal from my buddy who's had some family members that wanted to invest in a record label. And so I ended up just recording a record out in L.A. So I never got to make a full record with Dave, but he definitely played an important part in sort of my development, I think.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he showed interest in me. He thought that I was good. He thought that I had something to offer. That went a long way because, you know, he's very picky about his shit and whatnot. And I was just sort of getting the confidence to really push it out there. And the first time I met him was like 2010. My friend introduced me to him. We went to a studio, played him some of the tracks from that earlier record I was talking about earlier. That was like a traditional country record. And I was so excited about it, you know. And he was like, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think you're ready yet. I think you need some more time. I think you need to, you know, I think you need to play. I think you need to do your thing, go out, play live, write more. And I remember thinking that was like so heartbreaking to me. I was like, fuck, did I just blow my only chance?
Right.
But I was a kid, and I was far from ready, dude. I needed to, you know, I didn't know really what I was doing yet.
Yeah.
But at the time, I remember that I was just like, you know, I fucked it all up. Then 2 years later, he was like, hit me up, like, hey, I've been seeing some of the stuff you've been doing. Looks cool, man. He's like, send me some songs you got. So I sent him Mad Talking Man when I first wrote it, and it was like in a lower register. And he was like, this song's fucking rules, dude. Let's book some stuff. Come out here. Let's do it. And
Yeah.
so that was an amazing experience, and that sort of got me on my path to just sort of start writing better, you know, projecting more. And it was also, I like the fact that I recorded there 2 weeks before Southeastern because, like we were saying, that record's the shit, so.
Yeah. The two things on that. I guess I interviewed Dave right around the that compilation one, the
the
Southern Family.
Yeah, because he was always showing me that, like, it wasn't the Outlaw. Maybe it was the Outlaws record. It was a different record where they do like Civil War ballads.
It's the. I know it because he was really big into that record.
He is. He was talking to me about that in like 2010.
Yeah, because it's what is it called? Because it's not the Outlaws record or whatever, but it's
kind
like
of a similar setup.
It's like about the Civil War, and it's like with Waylon and who else is on there? Maybe like Christopherson. Or
Yeah,
something
it's like has some little guests that are all sort of like playing their.
Yeah. But anyways, he was saying how like when they did cut Southeastern, because I was saying like how a lot of those songs on that record feel like they're meant to be played in your living room, and he's like, yeah, well that's how we kind of cut them. We like he said, like, you know, on Elephant, Isbell's like cutting those vocals like in his kitchen, you know, like that kind of, and it kind of just, I guess, maybe helped create that atmosphere of like,
That
if you're
makes
gonna
sense.
I guess it gives it really a lot of that homely kind of vibe, you know.
It does.
Yeah,
that's an amazing record. I mean, as far as like the like Americana World like records that have come out recently, that's one of the greats, if not the greatest, just because the songs are amazing, the production's amazing. It just feels like a classic record for sure.
Yeah, you know what? An interesting part about it too is that obviously it's a great record that stands alone by itself, but like even in the years since, it's kind of become the blueprint for a lot of other Americana artists
It really has,
to try and make that kind of same
they're like,
record.
okay, we saw what happened with Isabel.
You know what I mean?
Him
Yeah.
out. Let's kind of do that same
It's
thing.
like, well, he's
I'm going to sing a
talking-
lot about my, you know, issues and how I overcame it and how this woman helped me with it. And,
But
yeah, that's
also
true.
like this is my area on the map,
Yeah.
and Southeastern obviously it's about South
Yeah.
and East, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people kind of, and not even necessarily like in a, oh, he gave us the blueprint and now we have to make our blueprint like this, but it gave people confidence to go, it's okay to like sing about where I'm from, you know?
Yeah. Harry Cruz talks about that. Harry Cruz talks about when he first started trying to write that he was writing about like business people that came home and there was food on the table and they had a family and the wife was waiting.
Yeah.
He's like, then I realized I don't know shit about that, man.
Yeah.
Why am I trying to do any of this? He's like, what I know is, you know, people who are missing a limb or one guy's missing an eye from a stapler gun and people have open sores and they can't like, you know, there's hardly any food on the table. And he says when he started writing about that, that's when his career took off. That's when people started paying attention to him, you know?
Yeah.
So that is the truth, man. Write about what you know. I mean, at least inject something about, I think Harry Crews is right about that.
Do you also like think that because you said you lived in L.A. for like 10 years, obviously you live here now. Do you think getting away from where you grew up gave you the maybe like the right appreciation for home?
It did, because growing up I didn't really care much for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I left, I was like, oh, all right, that place is actually like incredibly unique. The people are super cool and interesting. Because I started reading like Sam Shepard and shit when I moved to LA. So I was like, wow, I have cousins that could be in these books or in these plays.
Right.
Like, I have a lot of, when I started writing songs, it was like I just had this like well of material to pull from. Or like, when I started trying to write short stories or whatever, I had a lot to pull from. And I don't know if I would have really realized that or done that if I hadn't left.
Yeah. One thing I was going to ask you, I guess like in Westgate, what's the officer's name?
Officer Robichaux.
Yeah, is he or his family referenced at some other point in the song, like on a different record, maybe?
Oh yeah, so yeah, in Lights of Caring Crow, Eddie Robichaux I say, and it's actually Eddie Melancon, my grandpa, but for some reason I changed it to Robichaux. Back then I was like, I got insecure about it. I was like, oh, I don't know if I should actually say his name, because obviously there was violence involved in this, like my grandpa, when his son died, he was run over by this 18-wheeler, and the driver supposedly that weekend was like getting drunk. One of my pa's friends told him that. So my pa actually went to his house with a shotgun, and when no one answered the door, he kicked it down, and it's just his wife was in there. He's like, he's not here. Cops came and arrested my pa, and then they let him go. They knew it was like an act of passion. Not sure if nowadays they would let you go, but everyone liked my pa, and I think they understood.
Yeah,
it was a different time and place.
This episode is sponsored by Wicker's Mesquite Smoked Jalapeno Jelly. It's owned and operated by my buddy Wes Wicker, who makes the jelly in small batches for the best quality and freshness. He smokes the peppers with mesquite and uses pure cane sugar to make the jelly. What you get is this great blend of smoky, sweet, and spicy. It's addictively savory. For those uninitiated, Wicker's is a great addition to any chef's kitchen. Part of what makes Wicker's so great is just how versatile it really is. For starters, it makes a great meat glaze. Throw it on a batch of hot wings, use it on some pork ribs, some pork chops, really whatever you can think of. Eat it on biscuits, cornbread, bagels, or toast. Throw it on a ham or turkey sandwich. Another super simple but effective way is to get some cream cheese, throw some Wickers on top, and then grab your favorite cracker. Wickers is currently stocked at a handful of places in Lubbock and on the South Plains, as well as some Fort Worth and DFW locations. But the easiest way to get your hands on a jar is to head over to wickerstx.com. That's WICKERSTX.com. I'll throw a link into the show notes for good measure. They currently come in 2 varieties, original and now hot, if you need just a little bit more kick in your bite. You can order anything from 1 jar to a case of 12, whatever fits your needs. Again, that's wickerstx.com. Okay, back to the show.
I was just wondering if you, like the Robichaux kind of thing was just like you're connecting the universe.
Creating the world.
Yeah.
Hey, man, if people think that, that's fine, because we all know who did that shit. Springsteen liked to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Stephen King, too.
Yeah, Stephen King and Turnpike has done that recently with all their stuff. And one of the reasons is because of Stephen King.
Oh, cool.
And
so they get down.
Yeah, and Salinger.
Oh,
the Salinger stuff is all kind of connected too. All the
I gotta listen to Turnpike, man. I've never listened to Turnpike Troubadours before.
Mm-hmm.
I need to dive into that, because that's cool, man. Anyone down with Stephen King, I'm like, all right, that's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy how he obviously there's because all of his stuff's kind of in a connected world. Faulkner, and I can't ever pronounce the name of Faulkner's fictitious county in Mississippi,
I forget
but it's
what it is.
it's like a it starts with Y and ends with H, and it's like 12 letters long. So
Yeah, dude. Faulkner's. I didn't get to go to his house, I don't think, but I like spending time in Oxford, man. Oxford is a nice place, aside from the frat bros and all that shit.
mm-hmm.
It's got obviously a heavy history of great writers and great literature. And I go down there, and I became buddies with Larry Brown's family. They let me stay at his old shack that he built to write in, and I went in there, and they had a Rolodex, and I opened it up, and the first name I saw was Harry Crews and his home number. I was like, dang, I wish those guys were still around. I remember his son saying, like, man, I wish Dad was still around. He would have loved hanging out with you. And I remember thinking, like, damn, I wish he was too. Those old Southern Gothic writers that I feel like their personalities, we'd all hit it off very well. And I like that he told me Larry Brown would never talk about his, like, political belief. He was like, yeah, he'd never talk about his political beliefs, but we all sort of knew where he leaned.
Mm-hmm.
He was always hanging out with the far out artists and the painter. He was down to hang out with those sort of like outsiders in the South. And that, I don't know, I wish those guys were still around. I mean, Harry Crews obviously was quite a character, but I feel like Larry Brown and me would have been cool.
Yeah. They always talk about with Faulkner about the whole, like, he like hated living there, like, in the South during the time, because it's like
it was very
oppressed,
fucked up,
and like it's just very like
that makes you like him more.
But like how he absolutely like hated living there, but like he would never leave because like and I don't really believe in like this whole like you have to suffer to make great art.
No, me
but
neither.
Like there's something about like maybe bearing witness.
Yeah, being a witness
helps.
is an important part of that shit, man. Especially with me, like, I never served in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
I never served in Afghanistan. I just witnessed the leaving and the coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is enough to know what that situation, did to these men and women. And I feel like a witness always makes a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily go through it, but I saw the impact it had.
Yeah.
That's enough to know it was no good.
Yeah. One of my buddies, we always talk about how, everyone thinks that, like, you got to be super, super authentic to be a great storyteller or a great any kind of thing. And it's like, usually the guy who's like the coal miner is not going to be writing great coal mining songs because he doesn't know how to, he can't put that into a great story. He can kind of tell you the story.
He can tell you what it's like and what went down, but he won't be able to translate that into like. And that's a good point, man.
It's kind of the same thing with like the old cowboy kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of those old cowboy songs are done by cowboys, but like sometimes they're done by quote unquote like fake cowboys, what I mean?
Sure, man. Where like the outfits, like the old 50s movies and whatnot.
Well, I'm even talking just like with like Gene Autry or somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
Where he's not out on the range.
He's a showman,
but like he's telling all these old cowboy
mm-hmm.
stories because like my whole thing is like going back to the coal miner example is like. That guy, honestly, when it comes down to it, doesn't give a shit about the song.
He doesn't care.
Like,
no. He doesn't care about expressing his feelings in some like song format.
He's worried about like getting on to the next job.
Providing for his family and whatnot, doing his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, man. And there's a weird authenticity thing in the like Americana genre and the country genre. Like it's like this ongoing battle between the artists about who's more authentic. There's, the journalists and bloggers are talking about who's not authentic, who is authentic. Yeah. And it's just the most silly bullshit. None of us had to none of us had to go to, like, different areas and, like, settle it. And, like, none of us had to go on the fucking Lonesome Dove journey, dude.
Right, yeah.
How authentic can we truly be?
My whole thing is I've come to is, like, a little bit of authenticity goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Just a little bit of that... experience, a little bit of that upbringing, a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And you can feel it in the songs or in the whatever you're trying to do. Authenticity, true authenticity, you can always feel it. Whenever it's there, you're aware it's there.
Yeah, and I think like what a lot of people miss when it comes to other like artists talking about other artists or like journalists or bloggers or whatever. I think like we're missing, like a lot of people are mischaracterized, or I guess like maybe confusing authenticity with genuineness.
Yeah,
Because I think like being genuine about something is a lot more important.
I think it is too.
Like
That's a great point, man.
You kind of like, if you're genuine about a certain story or a certain narrative or whatever, it's going to help a whole lot more than
It will. And people can
anything else.
usually tell when you're not genuine.
yeah.
I mean, some people don't give a shit if you're genuine or not. They just want to, have like, the like pop country beat going. They don't give a shit what's going on. It's just like background party music.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the whole like, if you're 40 and you're making songs for 18-year-olds,
Yeah.
It's like, how
That'd be
genuine
awkward,
are
dude.
you?
And it's kind of heartbreaking to see some of those old school dudes like Tim McGraw having to like have this rap about like Lil Wayne and stuff, because they're capable of a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, don't take the girls the shit. We know it is.
Yeah. With Tim McGraw, like every once in a while, he still like, I feel like he still does some good things. Like he did like Lauren McKenna's "Humble and Kind."
Oh,
And that's like a great song.
That's thoughtful, dude.
Yeah.
Those guys going back and doing those songs for folks like that is just like.
But then of course, like it's like there's some songs. I was going through his catalog the other day, and he did like that song, "You Want Fries with That," and it's like, oh.
Dude, just that title alone sounds
Yeah.
like an Onion article.
Yeah, I can't even. I can't really remember what the song's about, but I remember hearing that song on the radio and just being like, and it's kind of like the whole like nostalgia deal of like, back when I guess like that's one of the lines is like, back when a Coke was a Coke, and like he's like kind of like
kind of like the Merle Haggard
Yeah.
thing when a buck was
yeah.
a joint was a bad place to be.
Yeah. He kind of goes through that with like Coke and like.
That's too bad, man. I heard of one dumbass song by this one dude that was like, he probably eats that sushi stuff. He probably drives a Prius. It's like, what? He likes a good meal and drives a like eco-friendly car. Like, how bad can that dude be? Honestly, he doesn't sound that bad to me.
Yeah. The what's funny is like the Prius thing has become like the poster child, like the poster boy of being any kind of remotely like cultured in a way. You know what I mean? Like if you're like even slightly cultured, you're driving a Prius.
He's
and
gone
like,
green.
Yeah. It's like, oh, guys, calm down. I mean,
yeah, dude. Whenever Becca got my girlfriend got a Prius. Whenever we have to go on long trips, it's like you're basically laughing all the way to the bank. Go up to Dallas, you only got to fill it up one time, if that.
yeah.
It's like people drive by in their big trucks, like "fuck you,
Yeah.
lefty." It's like, well, dude, I can guarantee we're saving a lot more money on gas right now. And who doesn't want to save money?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're driving in a tiny spaceship, but shit, fuck it.
My okay, so like my little brother's like 18, and so like he still lives with my dad in Fort Stockton, and my dad has a trailer company. So I'll ask him every once in a while questions about like, do you guys still have the blah or whatever? And he's like, no, like I don't even remember that, like because we're like 14 years apart.
Yeah.
So long story short, I was asking him about like, hey, do y'all still have like that white dually truck that when I was in high school, I guess in like 2004, my dad bought it brand new.
Yeah.
And he put they built an auxiliary tank on the back of it.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, like it was a diesel, but like to fill up the auxiliary tank and the tank, it was like 95 gallons.
Yeah.
And like you just kept on, but you could like literally drive from Fort Stockton to like San Antonio and back, like not even thinking about stopping.
That's cool.
It's kind of it's funny on like just you're never gonna like run out of gas in that thing.
No, dude, that's badass. Yeah, I remember my dad had the same S10 like for so long. It'd be the one he'd drive out to our crawfish pond and whatnot. It's like some of those old pickup trucks. It's like when I go to my hometown, it's like, wow, that they're never gonna upgrade that. They're just like, this is my truck. It's kind of like Hank Hill's truck. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
When he lost it, he was just like heartbroken. It's a similar situation. It's kind of charming in a way. It's like, damn, this dude loves his truck.
Yeah, I forgot you've been posting all the Hank Hill.
Yeah, that one Tom Petty one blew up. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, I think that's my Twitter hit, dude.
Yeah.
Sometimes the world's cruel to shiny things.
Yeah, when Tom Petty passed away, I had one of my friends had posted that same clip right there, and I was like, I had to share it too.
It's
and
classic.
it was just it's one of those like it's so heartbreakingly
It is, man.
beautiful at the same time.
It is, especially now that Tom's gone and whatnot.
Yeah,
But that tells you like the kind of the poetic side of Mike Judge. Like, there's a lot going on there.
yeah.
I mean, King of the Hill. If it wasn't, you forget that it's animated sometimes,
Right,
Because it all seems so real.
Yeah, the one thing that always will kick me back into obviously it not being or being animated is the clock in the kitchen that's like the state of Texas,
yeah.
because it always changes to like either like being like really really off on Texas, like it's like where West Texas will be really really small, or like the Panhandle will be super huge or something like that.
Yeah, that's
It's like
a great
that's like
show,
the worst
dude.
Texas, but it changes
He knows
like
it
every,
too. He's
yeah.
like, all right, let's just.
I
Some
love
people
that
have
show.
trouble drawing Texas, man. I think they just try to go from memory.
Yeah,
Like
you
I think
always
this
kind
is
of
how it's
remember
shaped.
your part of Texas, like,
Mhm.
and you kind of like, well, that's how you draw that part, but like you're messing up on everything else.
It gets a little iffy on the southeast side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. King of the Hill.
Cool,
That was
man.
great.
I wonder what we lost in this. I feel like we got so much that it's like if we lost the chunk, it's still.
Yeah.
What do
like-
you think?
No, I think we're fine on it. Like I know, like that one time it stopped at the very beginning, or
Mhm.
about 30 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is like I did not delete some of the other podcasts I had on here,
Mm-hmm.
so we're good. I just deleted them a minute ago, so we're rolling fine. So, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been fun talking with you here.
You too, man. You
So-
know what's cool about this is that we interacted online a lot, but we never actually met each other. So basically, this podcast episode was essentially us getting to know each other and hanging out for the first time.
Yeah, like our.
I feel
first
like we're listening to
conversation
this
here.
like 30 years from now and be like, damn, remember that? I was living on the second floor of that place, and
Yeah.
I had that couch that my cats had fucked up so much I just kind of gave up on it. Remember that?
Yeah,
I got a good feeling that that'll probably be the case.
I think so too. We'll have to do it back when you're in Lubbock.
I'd love to.
A part 2.
I like Lubbock, dude. They got that dope ass Buddy Holly statue and shit.
Yeah.
Best Raising Cane's I've ever been to was in Lubbock.
Okay, so like one of my buddies. First, I think like Raising Cane's has like the best Dr. Pepper. I don't even really drink Cokes.
Yeah, you never.
But like,
there is
I'll
something
get Dr. Pepper there, and I'll
Mhm.
because it's just so fucking good. My buddy though has a theory that it's not necessarily like that. Their Dr. Pepper, like their Dr. Pepper is probably really really good,
Mhm.
but it's the ice combination, like the ice mixture.
Yeah, dude, it
Like,
does something.
It
Raising Cane's started in Baton Rouge, not to get off topic,
Really?
but yeah, it started in Baton Rouge. For a while, there was only one in Baton Rouge and in Lafayette, so it was kind of like our South Louisiana secret thing.
Yeah.
Boy, has that blown up, because there was one in fucking Downey, California. Whenever I
Yeah.
was living there, I was like, dang, this guy done good.
there's like 4 in Lubbock.
He actually
5 or
failed the
something.
project too. He came up with the project for his class at LSU. He was like, "This is gonna be it. It's we only serve one thing, chicken strips." And they were like, "Dude, that ain't gonna work." F.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it did work, dude. That's an inspiring story, Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
And I like that in the different Raising Cane's, they have shit that's like has to do with the town. You go to the Austin one, they got 13th floor elevators. Town
Yeah.
Van Zant. You know, it's not
Speaking
like
of 13th floor,
yeah.
rest in peace, Rocky Erickson.
Yeah, Rocky Erickson, dude. He sure did make you not feel like an outsider. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, this guy's so far out. I actually feel somewhat normal listening to this dude.
Yeah.
I love his music.
Yeah.
The
To tie-
documentary is great, too.
Yeah. I watched the documentary, but we can tie it back in with this. After he passed away, I did tweet it out. They included Kingdom of Heaven on like episode 2 of season 1.
Love that song. Yeah,
and,
the
like,
church.
it closed out, yeah. And it just like adds this level of creepiness as
Mm-hmm.
they kind of like, I guess they turn back in and there's the mural on the
Mhm.
wall, and then it just slowly starts
Mm-hmm.
fading up, and then you leave the church and it's just super fucking creepy.
It is creepy, and
So-
and I bet Rocky fucking loved it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's
So-
one dude that he has those like horror themed songs and stuff. It's like, you know, I wish I would have got to meet him. I was gonna go to this show. I ended up not being able to go, and it's like that's one of those things I'll beat myself up about forever. One of those things where it's like, damn, he was always on my list.
Yeah.
My friend Jake was like, yeah, I'm going to set up something so y'all can meet each other and hang out because they're all good friends with his son. But, you know, man, the only thing you can do is just, like, honor those dudes and never forget their legacies. And, you know, you don't have to copy their styles, but you can inject a little bit of it into your shit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out episode sponsors Smith Iron and Design and Wicker's Jalapeno Jelly. Check out Rod's record Pinkville. Okay, I'll see y'all Thursday with another episode of New Slang.